crushing my brain with the candlelight. Losing my breath, losing myself, dreams are out of sight. Stop struggling against my demons. Stop thinking life as fiction. Let it burn, burn, burn. Burn the pain, burn the lies, burn the fear inside myself, and burn it all again. It's the right time to escape this cage I've been locked in for so long. It's not where I belong. Let it burn, burn, burn into the ground. Ready to fight, ready to go, that's my body word. Taking chances, I guess I just get one. Running a game, pushing my brain with the candlelight. I catch my breath and let it burn, 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 burn. Burn the pain, burn the lies, burn the fear inside myself, and burn it all again. It's the right time to escape this cage I've been locked in for so long. It's not where I belong. Let it burn, burn, burn into the ground. I gotta let it burn. Burn the lies, burn the fear inside myself, and burn it all again. It's the right time to escape this cage I've been locked in for so long. It's not where I belong. Let it burn, burn, burn into the ground.
So what does it mean to be a raging Cajun? Southwest Louisiana, wreck your face, man. Still don't get it in, I'ma let you know. All you gotta do is come and join the show.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to the World Elite Podcast. I am your host, Dylan Abear, and joining me to the side of me is my co-host, Jordan Johnson. Jordan, first of all, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, and I'm ready to do this.
Same here. And as you can tell, for one, Marcus is not on the show tonight, but as you can also tell, we did not come alone today. So Jordan and I were talking, and if we were going to bring somebody on for a third person, we're obviously going to bring on, and according to Marcus's records, is the holder for most appearances on our show. So I'm not sure if that's an official stat or whatnot, but I'm going to consider it one tonight. So he is one half of the End Time Wrestling Podcast. You can also catch him on the Tim King Show along with his brother Jeremy every week. Please welcome our guest at this time, Justin. Justin, how you doing today, man?
Doing awesome, dude. And it feels an honor to fill in for Marcus, the other third, I should say, of the Hostly Trio. Always happy to be here with you guys. You know that.
Absolutely, man. And like I said, whenever Jordan and I were discussing if we wanted to do a stream this week, because we were supposed to take a whole week break as a trio. So Marcus wanted to do one, and rightfully so, and same thing for you, like the entire fallouts with him all weekend long. I really didn't feel like doing it. Jordan didn't feel like doing it. So I really have to credit you for stepping up and joining Marcus every single stream, every Fallout, Ring of Honor, NXT, Boat Nights, and Mania. For both of y'all absolutely fucking killed it this weekend.
Dude, I'm always, I'm telling you, I'm the guy that comes off the bench. You need a substitute, you need to fill in, I got you anytime.
Absolutely, man. It's awesome to have you on the show, and we have a jam-packed live stream for everybody tonight. So we're not gonna waste any time. We're gonna get right down to the chase. So first of all, sadly, I got to start a little bit good, a little bit negative for today's show. So we're gonna go with Mania weekend. We got the good, the bad, and the ugly. There was a lot of good, some bad, some ugly from this weekend. So Justin, I'm gonna start with you actually, Justin. Give me a good, bad, and ugly, and it could be from any show that you watch this weekend. Ring of Honor, NXT. I know a lot of indie shows happen with a lot of GCW shows, Mania Night 1 and 2. So all three categories. Give me one for each.
I mean, I missed a lot of the indie stuff. I wish I'm gonna probably have to go back and rewatch that. But I basically watched, the three major ones. We watched NXT. We saw, WrestleMania. We got Supercard of Honor. If you had to go with a good for the weekend, I still can't believe I'm saying this still, with Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley. Like, those two absolutely killed it. Again, I never praise Charlotte. I always criticize her, and it's usually criticism that absolutely is deserved. But, like, her WrestleMania performance was incredible, and it's like, I wish she'd do that more often. I know she's probably not going to when she comes back off of her little break there, but like at least there was a moment where I felt proud to like actually say she did an amazing job, and the two of them put on an awesome match. Bad? That's tough. I would probably say, I'm going to go there, the ending to the Undisputed Championship match. It was just a huge, just absolutely deflated everybody. It was there. The moment was there. The time was there. And it's just like they couldn't pull the trigger on it. And the ugly, I'm going Supercard of Honor with Dante Martin's injury. That was the most horrific sight like ever. And I never saw the Sid injury live, but seeing that injury, I wanted to curl up in a ball. It was that horrific to watch. And it's just like, I can't believe we just watched that live on pay-per-view. And it's just like, it's such a bad smudge on an incredible match.
Yeah.
My good, I'm gonna go with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Usos. That match was great. My bad, I'm gonna go with the ending of WrestleMania night 2. And my ugly, I'm gonna go with Dante Martin. That was so ugly.
Yeah, my good. I gotta agree with Jordan. The ending of night 1 of WrestleMania. Someone actually finishing their story in the right way, the right booking way. I feel like night 2 should have been booked differently. I know a lot of people agree with me. It's a pretty obvious ending that should have happened, but of course, we're fed Roman week after week, sadly. So we're going to have a part-time champion for a while now, and I'm sure when it's going to end. My bad. I'm going to go a little different for you. I'm going to go with Asuka suffering yet another Mania loss. She's 0-5 now, I believe. 0-4 in singles competition. I believe 0-5 with a tag match. It sucks, man. This is bad for Asuka, one of the most dominant NXT superstars of all time, and now she comes to the main roster and she's treated like absolute shit. She wins the Royal Rumble. She goes to face Charlotte Flair, and the worst way to give your first loss to somebody is by making her tap out. Come on, that is the worst thing for her. And she was pretty much a shoe-in to win the Raw Women's title, and then she loses. Come on, like there's no future for her now. I feel like that was her momentum. She came back at the Rumble with her kind of look, and then you have her lose. Come on, this is so fucking stupid. I don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And then my ugly, I gotta agree with both of y'all. Dante Martin's injury was possibly the worst thing I've seen this weekend, and it's such unnecessary spots. I mean, that Canadian destroyer from the top of the ladder to those tables didn't need to happen in order for a match to be good. The match was already good. And then you add unnecessary spots, and then you take out one half a top flight again. It's already enough Darius Martin. He suffers injuries left and right. So now Dante is on the shelf for a while. It's unnecessary stuff that Tony Khan puts in there that he hurts his product. And I think it's something that didn't need to happen. At first, I thought it was a head injury. I thought he landed on his head wrong and he was out. But then I saw the replay. I seen like fan footage, and I seen his ankle was turned the other way, and it was just so hard to look at. It was horrible. So yeah, that's my good, bad, and ugly. I feel like it was a quick topic. Get it out the way, and then we'll head over to more things. We'll have more discussions on. So So speaking of Mania weekend, we had NXT Stand and Deliver, and the kickoff match featured a Schism taking on Chase University and Tyler Bate, and the winner gets control of Chase University. I don't I don't necessarily agree with the ending because I'm a big fan of Schism. I've been high on them for a while. And of course they lose to Chase University. Yes, I get it. Chase University is extremely, extremely over with the crowd, spelling out Chase and you and everything like that. For one, I get it. So Monday's news come out, and of course Sean Ross Sapp, who, yes, I'm not a big fan of the dirt sheets, and I assume no one is. But out of all the wrestling reporters out there, Sean Ross Sapp is one of my favorites, one that I could trust for reliable news. So whenever I got on Twitter Monday, I saw that he reported that Rip Fowler and Jagger Reed from the Dyad, they requested their releases. There was some reports that circulated that they were granted their releases, but now other reports are coming out saying that they did not get granted their releases yet. So, so kind of a double question here. If they are granted their releases, where do you see them going? And if they're not granted their releases, what does NXT and WWE need to do differently with them?
What a disappointment to see them leave if they do leave. They are an incredible tag team. They are so old school feel when I watch them. Like, I love those guys. Like, it's just crazy how it went from Zach Gibson as a single star to all of a sudden teaming up with James Drake and forming a tag team that absolutely worked. It was crazy, and they meshed so well like that. They're an incredible team. And it's like, I honestly believe they should have been after NXT UK. If they went to regular NXT for a while, they should have went up to the main roster. That, like, when Triple H took over for the time being, that should have been their time to go up and fill in that spot on that tag team roster. One of them. It doesn't matter which one. They are fantastic heels as a tag team. And it's like, I loved them in Schism. Because Schism was like this. I was like, okay, this is a weird gimmick with Joe Gacy, but he brought them in, and I'm like, this is kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting right here. But all they did was lose over and over again. It sucks. It sucks. And it's like, I understand that they would want to leave because of that. But it's like, again, as a fan, sucks to see them want to go, like, anywhere. If I had to say send them somewhere if they leave, I say have them go to Impact. They could use a pretty badass tag team like those two in their tag division. Like, give me them against freaking Motor City Machine Guns. That would be incredible as a match. So I say send them to Impact if they do leave.
How about you, Jordan?
Yeah, I think I can see them probably staying maybe and probably using them more, like more matches and put them in more things and all that.
Yeah, same here. I wish that they don't go anywhere. I absolutely love Schism. It's a group that really caught my attention. Joe Gacy, and sadly the comparisons to Bray Wyatt came out, right away, and then he adds Rip Fowler, Jagger Reed as the dyad, and then it automatically caught my interest even more. And then they bring in the Rock's daughter, and then my attention is on them. I mean, it's there. She had her first in-ring match. Of course she didn't look the greatest, but there's something to build on right there because she did look good. But I think Chase University going over was the wrong decision. If you didn't add that stipulation in there of the holder of Chase University, I think Schism wins. So I think if they do stay, they got to be booked better. If Schism is a team that I see being dominant over NXT, and they're booked every week to lose, and that's the sad part about it. So I can understand why they would want to leave. So if they are granted their releases, which I said, like, I hope they don't, because I want them to give it another chance. See possibly if NXT can book them better than what they've been doing. If I do see him going somewhere else, I would love to see him go to Ring of Honor. It would be nice to see him go there, not AEW wise, but go to Ring of Honor, work those weekly shows that are on Honor Club every week. And that's something I could really see. The Lucha Brothers just won the tag team championships. Have them go against the new Grizzle Young Veterans over there. Don't bring them in as the dyad. Bring them in as the Grizzle Young Vets, and just let them wreak havoc over there. See Gates of Agony. It's over there. I would love to see them too over there. There's gonna be so many dream matchups of a Ring of Honor, you know. And so let them have some appearances on AEW, but keep them on that Ring of Honor brand. I think that would be fantastic for them. But if they do stay, they gotta be booked better. They have been booked so poorly on that NXT brand. So if they do stay, Shawn Michaels has to open his eyes and realize, you know, the stars he has right in front of him. It's such a sad thing.
I'm with you that they should have won. Like, I think having Schism win, and you could have even kept the stipulation. You could even had them win and take Chase U, and then have Chase U have to fight to gain back their university. Like, that would be a pretty interesting little story going there.
So if they are granted their releases, kind of bonus question, do you see Duke Hudson actually turning on Chase U and even joining Schism like he was going to, but then he ended up turning on them anyway? So do you see him possibly going over there?
More than likely, yes. I think they've been kind of like contemplating doing it, but I think they're going to do it. If the dyad leaves, Duke's going with Joe Gacy.
Yeah, because I remember a few streams ago we were talking about the wrestling game and the DLC pack. It only features Joe Gacy, and I was complaining so much that Rip Fowler and Jagger Reed are not a part of it. I says, how am I going to form Schism on there without them too? And now the news break that they requested a release. I'm like, well, okay, maybe I don't need them on DLC if they're not even going to be there. So it's a shitty situation for two very talented superstars. So whatever comes of this, I feel like they're going to make the right decision going forward, and they're going to be booked properly if they do end up in a different promotion. So I didn't want to keep the negativity up, but we have to talk about something that is very bad. Something that happened also on Monday, and it was the disastrous Raw After Mania. Now, I'm trying to think of the right words to say with this, you know, how to describe it. It was an absolute dumpster fire, I should say. I've been to 2 Raw After Manias. There was a one after Mania 30 and the one after Mania 34. And each of them featured some returns, some debuts. And it was just an amazing show, an amazing crowd. And I feel like they had the potential in Los Angeles with this hot crowd. The crowd was great. I'm not going to take it away from the crowd. They were fantastic. It's just I hear Vince McMahon saw the rundown of the show. He ripped it up and it just created a whole new show. And it was possibly the worst Raw After Mania I've ever seen. So I don't really have much of a question about this, what you see about it. I just want your whole take on it. Justin, I know you have a lot to say about that Raw After Mania, so I'm going to let you go for it.
I'm going to unload on this right now. Hold on a sec here. The show was atrocious, dude. Like, as a Raw After Mania show, it was god-awful. As just a regular Raw show, it was just as awful. Like, it was so bad. And just hearing everywhere, because everyone was like, Vince did this, Vince did all this, Vince did that. And I'm like, this just shows you Vince is the problem. Vince has always been a problem right now. Like, what a waste of after a spectacular WrestleMania, and you follow it up with that. I would be embarrassed if I was working for them and had to follow up what was an amazing WrestleMania like that with a show like that. Not a return, except for one, not a debut, not no call-ups. Like, what a waste. What an absolute, like, you could have completely missed this Raw and you wouldn't have missed a thing. Literally nothing. They basically just hyped everybody up, going, it's the Raw after WrestleMania. It's the Raw After Mania. And everyone's like, yes, I'm going to watch the show. We're going to get something awesome here too. And everybody just was like sitting there on their hands going, wow, I stayed for this? Like, it was god awful. What an absolute disaster. And all the talk about Vince being back, and it's just, it's so worrisome, because now we're going to end up, this could be a constant thing again. And that'll be the worst, having Raw be god-awful and then SmackDown be god-awful. Like, what a terrible, terrible thing that's about to happen right here. I hope to God it doesn't, because I know Raw After Mania hasn't been the same sense like for years now. But it's like, come on, now was the opportunity for one of those years to finally break that chain and say this was going to be a Raw After Mania that you're going to remember, to like get you excited to even watch SmackDown on Friday. But now you just watch Raw and you go, oh great, now I'm concerned to even watch SmackDown. Like, it is a mess.
I know.
Yeah, let's just get to the point. It was shit.
He said it. That's all I needed to hear.
Yeah, like Justin said, no returns, no debuts, and then the ending, no main event.
God.
It was just
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, there's no other way to put it. It was shit. It was a horrible show. It's not your typical Raw After Mania. Yeah, I understand the Raw After Manias haven't been the same for the last few years, and I get it, but there's no reason to put on a show that was this bad. And yes, I get it. Vince McMahon has been away for quite some time. He has come back in, and reports are saying Triple H is still quote unquote head of creative, but it doesn't matter because Vince has the final say in everything that goes on now, and I think that's absolutely ridiculous. It's a horrible thing because Triple H has done so much to build people's confidence in being able to watch the WWE again. Because I would absolutely hate watching it when Vince was in charge. I wouldn't watch Raw. I wouldn't watch SmackDown. And the moment Triple H takes charge, it's getting my interest. He's bringing people back that were released very wrongfully, and for one, I'm not saying that everyone that came back is causing an impact on the company, because they're not. Because what's Hit Row doing? What's Karrion Kross doing for the company right now? Absolutely nothing. It was good to see him back at first, but now they're not doing so much, and that's not solely on Triple H. It's mainly just on the crowd's interest in these people, because yeah, they got a good little feel good pop, but after that, there's nothing for them. But now I feel like with Vince back, and not and everything has to go through him to get approval, I feel like it's going to go back to the same old WWE, where people are going to start asking for releases. Some people who are very talented are going to get wrongfully released when we least expect it. When the budget releases came out with like Aleister Black, Braun Strowman, and guys like that, it caught me by surprise. I'm like, these guys who have such potential for the company are getting released. I just feel like with Vince here now, and I'm hearing Endeavor is gonna start doing budget cuts now, so I'm not sure what's gonna go on with this company. But whatever's going on right now, it's not good. And this Raw After Mania was not good. There was no debuts. I was expecting like a Braun Breaker or Roxanne Perez, but we didn't get either of them. We got Matt Riddle in his tiny little underwears with no shoes on or nothing like that, looking like a toddler. So, and the sad part is I'm looking at this stream right now, but I can't help but focus my eyes towards Vince McMahon with his little sex offender mustache, looking like Gomez Adams. So it's it's absolutely scary to look at. I don't know what he was thinking with this mustache. It's like he disappeared for months, and he comes back with this whole new look, thinking people are going to forget the shit he thinks he's done. And there was a reason why he retired, because all these allegations against him, the hush money and whatnot. But him coming back doesn't mean that it's gone. So people can't seem to forget why he left in the first place. So if I'm someone who's either an indie star getting ready to sign or I go far away from this company, because I feel like they're heading in a downward spiral from here on out. And that's why I feel like, a guy like maybe Jay White couldn't come to the company, because I feel like he's going to be horribly booked. And sadly, Vince, I feel like, is going to let him go. And it sucks. But I'm also hearing that Jay White was never in the talks of even coming over there. And I was expecting him to show up on Raw After Mania, and he's nowhere to be found. And reports are saying that his name never came up during Mania weekend, which I think is ridiculous. How did they fumble that so bad to not bring him in? One of the hottest free agents, and they don't even bat an eye to bring him in.
Don't make no sense though. How do you say you have interest in the guy, but then go, yeah, we just don't want the guy? Like, the hell sense does that make? Like, it's almost like
Yeah.
Vince grew the mustache to be like, hey, look, I'm an entire different person. I'm not Vince McMahon. I'm somebody else. Like, I just have a mustache. Vince doesn't have a mustache. Like, it's just WWE, like this whole merger thing with UFC could be an absolute amazing thing for both UFC and WWE. But with Vince McMahon being involved, it's going to be catastrophic because, again, they're just brushing all the allegations aside because Vince has a great mind, according to them. But it's like after what happened Monday, that right there shows you that Vince isn't capable of doing anything in this company anymore. Like, yeah, he can do the business stuff probably, but when it comes to booking a show and trying to like draw more people into it, he pushes people away more than he brings anybody in to want to see anything. This man needs to be gone from this, like, entirely. Like, if the whole talk about Vince, they watched Vince Monday and weren't very pleased with it, so they're going to watch Triple H on Friday and see what he can do. I hope to God that's true, because I hope they look at what Triple H does Friday, looks at how great he does stuff, goes through with the entire merger, and since there's supposedly people that are higher than Vince in position-wise, I hope they look at that and go, that's it. We're going to go through with this. Triple H is going to do this stuff, and Vince, you're out. Get the hell out. Like, why would they want all that attached to their company right now?
Yeah, because there's absolutely no way that the higher ups at the company right now can be pleased with what they're seeing on social media. If they're on social media, to be honest, because you go on their Twitter page for WWE and anything that's posted, it don't matter if it relates to SmackDown, Raw, NXT. It could be a simple memory that they're posting, and all you see down the Twitter page is Fire Vince, and Fire Vince. It's a hashtag that has taken over wrestling Twitter, and it's going to keep on going until they finally make a move. And they're saying Endeavor, the higher ups in Endeavor, are saying that they're well aware that fans want Vince gone. So what happens next is going to tell what Endeavor really wants, because either they're going to say, okay, Vince, you can walk away, or does it matter what the fans want? We're going to keep you here to destroy your own company that you built from the ground up. So whatever happens in the next few weeks is going to tell the vision that Endeavor has for WWE. So I really hope they wake up and realize, Triple H has done such an amazing job. Don't take creative away from him, because he has done such a fantastic job in starting at SummerSlam last year and then all the way to right now. He's done great. So don't take it away from him. He's doing really good.
Mm-hmm.
So now we get to the more positive part of our stream, and we're going to go to NXT. And I thought Braun Breaker was main roster bound, and he proved at the end of the show he is nowhere near main roster bound, because he's not done with Carmelo Hayes. I'm guessing he's not forgetting that Trick Williams tried to cheat by hitting him with his own championship belts. It didn't work at first, but then it led Carmelo Hayes to an advantage to winning the championship from him. Now, I got to say, at the end of NXT, I thought the other way was coming. I thought Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams were going to start beating up Braun Breaker. It turned around to a double turn that Carmelo Hayes is a full face now, and Braun Breaker seems like he's going heel. So, what's y'all take on that? Like, Braun Breaker staying in NXT now. There's no way he should win the championship back. I think Melo should beat him one more time, and then that's when you bring him to the main roster. He suffers one more loss. There's nothing he has left to do in NXT.
I definitely don't think he's going to get that title back. And I think turning him heel was absolutely a great move. It was a fantastic move in all seriousness here. Having him be the heel in this situation, instead of them both just being like, everyone likes Carmelo, when clearly the crowd hates Braun Breaker, instead of trying to book him like John Cena and all that, where everyone's just like, yeah, we really like him, crowd doesn't like him. but we're just still going to throw him out there because we fucking love the guy, and that's about it. Like, you turn him heel, let him feed off the fact that the crowd is booing him, and make him an absolute jerk, because it's proven already just by through Scott Steiner that Braun Breaker would be a great heel. Like, Scott Steiner's a fantastic heel. I don't know anything about Rick Steiner being a heel, but like right now, yeah, his dad's in a lot of shit for being an absolute asshole. But other than that, like, so maybe that could be another reason why they've been booing him. But heel breaker is actually really awesome idea right now. This kind of finally says, hey, the crowd really loves Carmelo. The crowd's not really into Braun Breaker. Clearly, we got to make him the heel right now. And I like it. I love the idea. It had me stunned that he went through with it, and I was all for it. I can't wait to see what's going to happen with it.
Yeah, I like that they turned him heel, and yeah, like if he loses one more time, I can see him going to the main roster. And
So my main question is, if he goes to the main roster, do you bring him up heel or do you switch him back to a face?
Keep him heel. Keep him heel
Heel.
for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm interested. I'm very interested to see where he goes from a heel perspective, because it seems like when him being a face, it doesn't mean that the crowd lost interest in him. I think they lost interest in him being a champion. He was a champion for so long. Every time he retained, the crowd have zero reaction because they don't want it on him no more. Same thing with Roman. Yes, Roman is the hottest thing in the company right now, but Cody's not far off. I feel like Cody came in there and is getting this spotlight like crazy. So it's kind of taken away from Roman. Even Paul Heyman said that Cody became a bigger star at WrestleMania 39, and he's not wrong. It's just it should have went in a different direction with him winning the championships. I don't know where they're growing with this. The whole thing with Lesnar attacking him. I'm hoping they don't write him off again, because we don't need a Raw or a SmackDown without Cody Rhodes there. So now Braun Breaker, I'm gonna agree with like with Bakley here. You know, I think a heel breaker is good for a solid 2 months, but if it's worked well, if it's booked well, I say you let it go even longer. So
Mhm.
it's all about booking. If you book Breaker correctly and let him be one of those top heels, I don't see how this goes wrong. So I'm extremely interested to see where a heel Braun Breaker goes. Yeah, he has to lose at the next pay-per-view. There's no way you let him get that championship back, take it away from Melo. I think Melo is that new face in NXT. He'll hold it for a while, and then that next new person will come in. And it's just a passing of the torch every single time someone wins the championship. Braun passed it over to Melo, uh, even though they were on the same graduating class from the Performance Center. It was a passing of the torch. Melo's going to hold it for quite a while. I don't see anyone on that roster beating him for it right now. But then someone else will come in, and it'll be another passing, and he'll come to the main roster as well. So it's all a matter
Give
of
it to
booking, to be honest. Yeah.
Give it to my boy
Yes.
Waller.
Yeah.
Come on. Carmelo as the baby face, Waller as the heel. Give Waller the title. I will bring that hashtag back if it happens.
I remember you saying that, and we were talking about it on our last stream, to be honest, with Grayson Waller. I was saying Grayson Waller could possibly be main roster bound by SummerSlam, but now with Vince in charge, I feel like he's going to ruin Grayson Waller. Keep him in NXT as long as you can, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. If Vince is gone after that, then call him up and then give Waller a title. I don't care which one. Give him the U.S. title. Hey, have him beat Theory. There you go.
That's something I could get behind. Is taking the belt off of Theory. I think Theory deserves something better than the U.S. title. He's a main eventer. Guess we'll see.
Absolutely.
So let's jump to last night. Let's jump to AEW Dynamite. And one of the big moments from Dynamite was the debut of Switchblade Jay White, someone who WWE absolutely fumbled. How on earth do you not even look at this man and say, yeah, we're going to bring him in? They did the same thing with AJ Styles. They brought AJ in without any hesitation. And they did well with him. They booked him really good. Same thing I feel like they could have did with Jay White, but there was interest. And then on the biggest weekend in the history of WWE, you don't even bring him up in conversation. Honestly, I really think Tony Khan got the better end of the deal here. Bring him in and let him do what he does best. He's such a talented superstar. But one thing that I'm gonna critique is the way they debuted him. I don't know if it was the camera work. I don't know what happened. And honestly, I didn't even see when it happened live because I caught Dynamite a few minutes too late. And the moment I turned it on, all of a sudden Jay White's in the ring. I'm like, what the fuck? It didn't even give me time to pop like a normal wrestling fan should when they see Jay White on television. So what would you have done differently with his debut? Because he just ran in and started beating Ricky Starks' ass. Like, I think something should have been done differently.
See, I like that they just had him show up like that and then like solidify that he was going to be with Juice again. But it was just like the camera angle for it was awful. Like they had Ricky in the ring, and then all of a sudden they did this wide shot. You just hear the music, and everyone's just like reacting to it. There's no Tron, there's no nothing, and you just see him walk out. But we're like halfway across the freaking arena as he's coming out, and I'm just like, "Hello, I'd love a zoom in. I want to see Jay White, damn it!" And then they cut over. And then he just books it down the ramp, and I'm like, that was a terrible way to do it. But hell, Switchblades in AEW, I had a feeling he was going to be there from the start when everybody was debating, Switchblade should go to WWE, like Jay White should go to WWE, and I was just like, I just can't see him doing it. AEW is where he has access to New Japan still. He has all his Bullet Club mates. He has a lot of people that he's like best buddies with. That's your opportunity right there. And then after all this stuff with WWE and Vince and all that stuff like that, that to me just solidified that I had a feeling Jay White was coming here. There's no reason why he should go to WWE and get booked like utter trash, because that would be the biggest disappointment ever if you book Jay White like absolute crap. Like if you book Jay White like shit, you're gonna get shit for it. That guy is a bona fide main eventer, hands down. And let's just hope that Tony doesn't freaking drop the ball on it. If this guy sits on the sidelines for months as they wait and twiddle their fingers on it, I'm gonna be a little pissed too, because I want to see Jay White on my freaking TV, damn it.
Yeah, when he came out last night, I was like, hell yeah, he's here. And yeah, just book him right and put him on TV, and we all gonna be happy if they book him right.
Absolutely. I'm with y'all. I really hope they book him correctly. They actually let him get on TV as much as they possibly can. This is not a person where you let him debut and then all of a sudden he transitions going to dark and just on Rampage and stuff like that. This is not what needs to happen to Jay White. Now, the debut, yes, I would have done it differently. I wasn't a fan of how he just ran out. I kind of feel like it didn't give the crowd a proper like reaction. I'm really not a fan of how Tony Khan makes the lights go out for everything, because I was in New Orleans for Dynamite when the lights went out at the end, and it was only to reveal Satnam Singh, and it was extremely disappointing. And I really thought we were getting something else, and that's all we got. And the crowd had absolutely no idea who that was. So that led to criticism to Tony Khan doesn't need the lights to go out for every single person who debuts in AEW. But if you were going to have it go out, I feel like you should have had it go out for Jay White. Let Ricky stand tall over Juice Robinson, and let him be celebrating in the ring, and lights go out. And then it comes back on, almost like a Malachi Black when Arn Anderson was in the ring. Have him stand in the corner and just have him just whip Ricky's ass. I love Ricky Starks, but something about Jay White, man. Jay White, he's gonna do great things in AEW. It's just Tony Khan has to book him properly. I'm all about MJF with the World Championship. I love what he's doing with it, but I need to see that strap around Jay White's waist extremely soon. So hopefully Tony Khan gets the senses to put the title on him at some point. I for one predicted that MJF would hold a title for a while, but now seeing Jay White in AEW, think my decision kind of changed on it a little bit. I would love to see Jay White with the AEW World Championship. He don't need to hold anything else. Don't let him hold the TNT title or even the godforsaken FTW title. That doesn't need to be on his waist. It's the AEW Championship or nothing.
At this point, two options I think you have that are going to end up dethroning MJF: Jay White or Adam Cole.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the two names I was thinking, either Jay White or Adam Cole. I think they're doing Jungle Boy right now, Sammy Guevara. I don't think either need to take it off him. MJF will he'll go through them. I don't even think right now that Omega needs to dethrone him. Let Omega focus on what he's focusing on right now. And this whole story with Hangman and all that, let him focus on that. I feel like the focus on the AEW World Championship needs to either be Adam Cole or Jay White. So hopefully Tony Khan reads social media. I know he does because he responds to the most unnecessary tweets ever. So he needs to open his eyes and do it, because Jay White as world champion would be a really good AEW. That's for sure.
The only disappointing thing is Ricky. Is for Ricky, because it just feels like the push is over, and that sucks. Because you know for sure he isn't just going to go over Jay White, and that's the sad thing. But it's like, it's Jay White. You gotta make the most of what you have there with him.
Yeah, so, yeah, I was getting ready to say that too. For Ricky Starks, he had a good push for a while. Doesn't seem like that push is going anymore because with Juice Robinson coming in and Jay White, there's no way Ricky's going over Jay. We all know this. And now that Jay's officially signed with the company, we know his status with AEW now. Yeah, he's not going over Jay, even if we wanted him to. He's going to bring in his hot new toy and he's going to let him shine for a long time. And hopefully he doesn't get tired of that new toy and he lets him keep on going and going and going until he's world champion. But I love what Bakley's saying, that Cole beats MJF and then Jay White beats Adam Cole for an AEW world championship. That's like a dream right there.
Jay White and Adam Cole, give me that IV now. Just pump it in there right now.
Yeah, and yeah, he's only 29, so he has a bright future ahead of him for AEW. That's crazy. So, last topic of the night is another AEW thing, another positive thing. Now, something that frustrates me about Tony Khan is whenever he says he has a big announcement, because lately his big announcements have been a big case of underwhelming. It's always been something he doesn't need to announce on social media that he has a big announcement and then it turns out to be a behind the scenes TV show that airs at the Dynamite. We don't need a groundbreaking announcement for that. Just put it on social media and let it go. So whenever he said he had a big announcement, he actually delivered with this one, because on Sunday, August 27th, they are going to London at Wembley Stadium for AEW All In. I'm fucking pumped for this. International AEW going to Wembley Stadium of all places. Holy shit, that is fantastic. Now, I saw a question on Twitter and I'll ask it to y'all. Do y'all see AEW selling out Wembley Stadium?
See, I don't want to feel like I'm the negative Nancy in this situation and say no, but I hope to God they do. I hope, even if they get 80,000, because Wembley holds 90K as a total. Yeah, so if they even just get 80K or 70, anything between I would say 60 to 80K as a just to fill that thing. Even if you have a couple empty rows, just something. Pack that thing and make it look packed, because this show's going to be fucking epic. I can't wait to see this shit. I really cannot. Just think, that means we're going to watch an AEW show at a really early ass time too, because that's what happened with Clash of the Castle. We're going to be watching an AEW show super early, and then everybody can do their review shows after and not feel like you got to freaking be all right, I got to wait till tomorrow because we just got done after a 7.5 hour show. this is huge. Like when he said important announcement, I go, I don't think that's really important because it's not like AEW is going to close their doors because they can't break into the UK market. Like they're making it in there, but it's still freaking a absolutely massive announcement, and I cannot wait to see this show.
Yeah, I can see them probably selling it out as in a big stadium too. So
Yeah, it's in Wembley. So while Justin was talking, I went googled the attendance for Clash at the Castle, and Clash at the Castle was in Cardiff, Wales, and it had an attendance 62,296 people. So you go overseas, you go to a place like this, and it will give you a WrestleMania like feel because the crowd wants these type of events, and they don't get them as often as people in the States do. So I feel like whenever they go over there, they soak in the energy and they never get tired. So AEW can go over there and put on a show as long as they always put them on because the crowd, like at an All Out or a Double or Nothing, whatever pay per view it is in the States, and it goes so long, it's like the crowd's so deflated by the time the show is over, and it's like they're so tired. But if you go to Wembley, I feel like the crowd's never going to lose their energy. It's like start to finish, they're going to be a red hot crowd. And if you pack, 70, 75,000 plus in there, it's going to give you like a WrestleMania style feel. So I think, Tony Khan needs to actually build a good story going into this pay per view, and you give him a really good match for a main event. Obviously it's going to be MJF versus so and so. So we don't know who it is yet, but I feel like it needs to be a good story of who it is. Don't let it be like a Sammy Guevara, a Jungle Boy, anything like that. Let it be Adam Cole. And if Adam Cole's going to dethrone him over there in front of everyone at Wembley, that's going to get a thunderous pop for someone to dethrone MJF and win a championship, someone like Adam Cole. And, I'm not all about taking the title off of someone so quickly, but Jay White and Adam Cole at Full Gear is like my dream after they announced All In Wembley. Have Cole be the one to take it off of MJF at All In. I'm not sure of the status on All Out right now. I know someone said they comment on Anthony Bowens' tweet about All In and asked him about All Out. I'm not sure if he was only joking about this or if he was being serious, but he said All Out was the week after All In. This does not need to be a thing because you cannot have an actual story for a show that's a week after another one. I feel like it's a bunch of forced matches. So this doesn't need to happen. So it's either All In or All Out needs to happen. If All In's obviously happening, All Out, let it rest for a year and have it come back next year, because you're going to force a match and it's going to have zero feeling behind it. I feel like that he dropped the ball last year with Forbidden Door. Forbidden Door was so many put together matches that had zero story behind them. So I don't know what you do with All In and All Out. All Out, like I said, give it a year off. It's nice for Chicago to always get their All Out pay-per-views, but I would take it away just for this year. Let's see how All In does at Wembley, and then if it does well, go somewhere else international. Let these like overseas crowd get a pay-per-view style feel for one time out of the year, like how WWE did with Clash at the Castle, and then how they're doing with Money in the Bank. I mean, going to the O2. So I say you let them see how it does, and then that bases your decision right there. Do I keep All Out? Do I keep All In? It's all a matter of how the crowd does. I feel like the crowd's gonna absolutely be thunderous the whole show for All In.
Dude, the UK crowd is one of the best crowds ever. I swear, for especially for pro wrestling, like that crowd is gonna be amazing, and it's especially if they pack Wembley. That crowd is just you're going to be hard as hell to hear anything for anything. Like you'll be watching a match and you'll be like, I can't hear the commentary over the 90,000 people just chanting stuff.
Yeah. Like honestly, For All In, if it is Adam Cole in the main event, all I need to hear is Adam Cole in the middle of the ring, giving us an Adam Cole baby with the crowd behind him. That would send chills down me if I hear that. Oh my god.
Just remember when he was there for NXT UK and they did something like that, and he did the Adam Cole in the middle of the ring. It was so loud, even for a tiny little building and not that many people. I'm just like, the UK crowd is fucking awesome. I love the UK crowd.
Because trust me, I love my pro wrestling. I've been to my fair share of shows, and I see how people like wrestling fans in the states they take their wrestling for granted, and it sucks because you see the people when they go overseas how much they love it, how much they enjoy it, and how much they would want them to go more and more and more. And sadly, they can't. So I feel like even like a Money in the Bank show is gonna have like a SummerSlam WrestleMania style feel. It's Indio too, and it's gonna be fantastic. So if I'm Vince Triple H, I booked the right winner for Money in the Bank, and let that crowd get behind whoever it is. And just let the crowd, just enjoy this. They're gonna enjoy All Out. They're gonna enjoy Money in the Bank. I would assume they're going back for Clash at the Castle. They had a very good last year, so I would assume they're doing it again.
I don't know why they'd pass up on that. Why not have it again? But I don't think we're gonna have it again this year, because if we're having a show once in the UK with Money in the Bank, I think we're gonna skip out on that one again this year. Like, I think we'll be seeing it next year, since Money in the Bank will probably be in a different location. But again, the UK, I'm jealous of you guys right now. You're getting Money in the Bank and freaking All In. That's gonna be huge for them.
That's for sure. So before we close out, do we have any other topics, any shows that happened in the past week that y'all would like to discuss something about, or no?
Um, no, I think we kind of covered a lot of it, because, I mean, yeah, the big thing, that the major talking thing that everyone, like, point that everyone was talking about was the ending for the WrestleMania match. But basically, we've all kind of covered that in our own way. So not really much to really have to say again.
Yeah, and before we wrap up, one more thing I want to bring up: the Twitter page for the WWE did announce that tomorrow on SmackDown, Triple H is gonna address the WWE Universe. What's gonna be the announcement? The announcement last time was extremely underwhelming, saying they're not going anywhere, and that was pretty much it. So, does the announcement get better? Is it gonna address any sort of rumor about Vince? Is he gonna even bring up Vince's name? What's gonna happen?
Probably Triple H again, trying to prevent more chaos. It's the only reason why I think he gets put out there. At this point, with all the everybody going after Vince thing at this point, Triple H at this is just he's the barricade. He's got to be out there to. He's kind of like a negotiator at this point. He's like, everybody, don't lose your minds right now. Don't worry. I promise nothing bad's going to happen. It's just like, I don't believe him. I don't believe it, because I'm still worried. Vince is back. It doesn't matter what position he's in. He's back in the company. He should not be there right now. He should be off handling his own freaking nonsense with all these allegations he has, or quote unquote rotting in a jail cell. But that's just me right there. But other than that, like, he shouldn't be here. There's no reason why. He's just going to cause more trouble. And it's not a good look. It's not a good look to have him around right now with everything going on with him. It's a bad mark again on the company. And the fact that if the longer they wait to not do anything, that'd be hysterical to think of. Tell him to fix that one side, because his mustache still looks crooked. It looks like it goes this way, and it's weird. But yeah, they have to decide what the hell's going to go on here, because they can't afford to keep having that bad mark of everything that Vince has done just lingering with them like that.
Yeah, Jordan, you got any prediction on the announcement tomorrow, or just some same old bullshit they had on Monday?
I think probably the same old bullshit.
Yeah, same here. I think it's going to be some nonsense. They say Triple H is going to address the universe and whatnot, and I just think it's going to be something to kind of distract people from all the nonsense that's going on within the company. Everyone obviously knows what's going on with Vince being there, that Triple H still quote unquote head of creative, but Vince gets the final say. Everyone knows this by now. If the internet didn't exist, then obviously everyone would be interested to see what happens tomorrow. But now that the internet is a thing and dirt sheets are all over the place, we all know what's going on. Nothing is a surprise anymore when it comes to professional wrestling. So sadly, I don't think any sort of announcement is gonna change our view right now on WWE. It's all about what happens in the coming weeks and if anything gets better. So it's all a matter of time. I don't think anything is going to get changed overnight. I certainly don't think SmackDown is going to be fantastic. I saw a few matches on the card. It does look like it's going to be good, but it's only a matter of fact if Vince goes in there, sees the matches, and keeps them. If he goes in there, rips it to shreds, and it comes up with some bullshit again, then we all know that it's just Vince being Vince, and he doesn't like anything, and he always wants to be right, even though he knows damn well he's wrong. So I don't know.
Mhm.
It's all a matter of time. Jordan, you got anything you want to add in before we close things up?
No, just um, this weekend is Easter, so happy Easter to everybody.
Yeah, of course, yeah, yeah. But that'll do it for today's show of the World Elite Podcast. Justin, of course, always a pleasure having you on the show. Obviously, it's the same thing every time, but if anyone new is watching, tell them where they can find you on social media.
You see it on the screen right there at Just in Time 211 on Twitter. You can follow my co-host, my brother, at Jeremy and Time 721, also on Twitter. In Time Wrestling Podcast, yes, it's been on a long hiatus and a very long hiatus. And sadly, it's going to still be on that long hiatus because a lot of personal stuff going on here. Stuff that's kind of seems to just be getting worse and worse, it seems like every day. But again, whenever I get to hang out with everybody else, helps me keep my mind right with everything. So right now, just listen to some old episodes. You'll kind of get a gist of what it's like when you listen to the show. But I'm telling you now, I'll tell, like I say, every time on any show that I'm on, just because we're on a hiatus does not mean the show's gone forever. The show will be back, and I guarantee that. And I thank you guys for having me on here because I always love, again, getting to come on here, even if it's to do like a classic review with Marcus, any kind of like prediction show, anything like that. It's just, again, thank you guys.
Absolutely, man. It's always a pleasure having you on our show. You know, like I said at the beginning, for a third person, you were like my first option to reach out to. If there's ever a pay per view review that I accidentally forget to watch the pay per view and I can't make it, I always write Marcus. I'm like, just ask Justin to do it. He's always down to do something with you. So, so, so obviously, you know, you're our favorite person to have on the show, no matter what. You know, I love the show you and Jeremy do. I love tuning in to the Tim King show to watch you and Jeremy do Topic Battle Royal. I love joining y'all whenever I'm you know, available to do so. It's always a pleasure hanging out with you. It's always fun having you on the show, no matter what. And this ain't gonna be the last time we have you on, obviously, since you do hold the unofficial, I guess, say record of being on our show more than anyone, and it's not even close really because you come on our show pretty much all the time. So it's an absolute pleasure, man. Like we always love having you on the show. So it was a no-brainer having you on tonight, and we hope to have you on again if Marcus does sit out another episode or something like that. Obviously, he'll see how successful tonight was, and he was like, you know, well, maybe I'll sit out another one and I'll let them do it again. So I guess we'll see. I'm pretty sure Marcus will kind of oppose to that because he loves also doing live streams and whatnot. So, so I guess we'll see.
I told you, I'm telling you,
So,
Bakley, you have that gimmick now. That's not me anymore. You go everywhere more than I do anymore. Like that's your gimmick now.
all right, well, on Twitter, you can find the podcast at World Elite Pod. You can find me on Twitter at Dylan Aber _. Jordan's at Jordan _J2000. And of course, Marcus is at Marcus Elite 337. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, every social media possible our podcast is on. Our live streams, Facebook and YouTube, audio platforms for all the audio shows everywhere, Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, everywhere you listen to a podcast. Always be sure to check us out over there. We are sponsored, of course, by adcs.com. Use our promo code World Elite to get 30% off your order. And then, of course, we're sponsored by W Energy. Use our code World Elite Pod to get 10% off of your order as well. But that will do it for this episode of the World Elite Podcast. Once again, Justin, it's always a pleasure having you on our show. Come back whenever you want. The door is always open to have you on. So anytime you're free, which seems like it's a lot because you join our show all the time. So you're free to come on whenever, man.
Told you, I am the substitute. I'm your pitch hitter. Like, you need it right now, just tag me in, coach. Tag me in.
Absolutely. Well, like Jordan mentioned already, it is Easter Sunday, so I hope everyone has a great, safe, and blessed Easter holiday with your families and whatnot. And we will be back next Thursday for another jam-packed live stream. But this is the World Elite Podcast, and we will see everybody next time. Y'all have a good one.
Peace.